Okay, Assalamualaikum. Okay, today I would like to turn to chapter 6. It's about employee behavior and motivations. Okay, in this chapter, it discusses about the basic form of behavior that employee exhibit in organizations, as well as the nature and importance of the individual differences among the employees. Okay, so it also explained in this chapter is also explained the meaning of importance of psychological contract and the person job fit in the workplace. Okay, and then the finally of the chapter will present about the time tested model and concept of employee motivation, and some strategies and also technique used by the organization to improve the employee motivations. Okay, so before I start this chapter, I would like to let you know in this chapter they have about 5 parts, which is part 1 is about form of employee behavior. It discuss about the performance behavior, about the organizational citizenship, about the counterproductive behavior. However, the second part is about individual differences among the employees, where it's about the personality at work and also the attitudes at work. And the part 3 is about the matching people and jobs. Okay, in this part is talk about psychological contracts. Later I will explain to you, and also the person job fit. The part 4 is about basic motivation concept and theories, where it discusses about the classical theories. It's about the early behavior theory and also the contemporary motivation theory. And the final part, which is strategies and technique for enhancing motivation. In this part, it talk about the reinforcement, about the behavior modifications, about the using goals of motivate behavior, participative management and empowerments, job enrichments, and also modified work schedules. Okay, so we go the first. Okay, after reading this chapter, you should be able to answer all those questions. Okay, now we go the first slide. Is about form of employee behavior. Okay, form employee behavior. Employee behavior is the pattern of action by members of organization that directly or indirectly influences the organization's effectiveness. Okay, this is employee behavior, is a pattern of action, okay, of the by the members of the organization, which is the pattern of actions of the employees. Okay, which can directly or indirectly influence the organization effectiveness. Okay, next is performance behavior. What is performance behavior? Performance behavior is such as individual are well aware of their key responsibility areas, okay, and what they are supposed to do at the workplace. That is called as a performance behavior. Okay, the roles, the responsibilities should be in line with the organization goals and also objective. So task performers concentrate on their work, never lose their focus, so that they meet the deadline and achieve the target or before the time. Okay, for example, like individual who close with the coordination with the clients and customers, train their fellow workers, and try to finish the task on time with the minimum possible errors. Okay, that's called performance behavior. Okay, next is organizational citizenship. Organizational citizenship is a positive behavior that do not directly contribute to the bottom line. Okay, this is stated in your slide. Which mean that if in the textbook is page 273, okay, which mean that if you see in the textbook, it says here, example, employee who does work that is highly acceptable in terms of the both quantity and quality. However, she refused to work overtime won't help out newcomers learn the rope, and is generally unwilling to make any contribution beyond the strict performance requirement of the job. This person may be seen as a good performer, but she is not likely to be seen as a good organizational citizen. Okay. Another employee may be as a bit compatible. Okay. Which means this is organizational citizenship is means that, okay, in the textbook say that the person is, maybe she is a good performer, she's a good employee, she makes sure her work done, but she is not a person who will do extra work, okay, or to help the newcomers ke new workers ke apa, because she don't think it means that she is not like for her is she only as a worker, employees work to complete the task, and then the organization will pay the salary. That's all. She won't do the extra time where she think that this organization also belong to her. She don't feel that this place is belong to her. Okay. So, like for example, like some of the employees, they will sacrifice for the organization because they feel they also a part of the organization. Okay. So manager need to encourage the employee to gain from each other knowledge and expertise. Okay, help your colleagues learn a sympathetic ears to their problems. Okay, if one of your team member is not able to perform a particular task, sit with him. Okay, brainstorm ideas and help him find the appropriate solutions. Okay, show genuine courtesy towards the fellow workers. Okay, that is organizational citizenship. Okay, which is help your co-worker acquire new skills and also learning. Okay, next is counterproductive behavior. Okay, counterproductive behavior that detract from organizational performance, which is absenteeism, turnover, theft, sabotage, sexual harassment, workplace violence. Okay, this counterproductive behavior is rather than contribute to organization performance. Okay, so such as behavior include absenteeism, which occur when the employee does not show up for work, or turnover, which occur when people quit their job. Okay, which mean counterproductivity is work behavior have a tendency to harm their organizations. Okay, such individual not only speak ill for their organization but also abuse fellow workers and pass their lewd comments. Okay, they are often involved in objectionable and also objectionable activities, and also doing the unproductive tasks, which will spoil the entire work culture. Okay, so individuals with the counterproductive work behavior are often indulged in the theft, leaking confidential information, and also data tampering and so on. Okay, that is productive behavior. Okay, the absenteeism, which is they are not attend, or they not come for work, they are not showed up for work. Turnover, which is banyak yang leave the job. Okay, sabotage, theft, social harassment, workplace and so on, workplace violence and so on. Okay, so next part is the second part, which is personality. Okay, personality. Individual differences are personal attributes that vary from the person to another. Okay, so they may be physical, psychological, or emotional differences. Okay, so they have two basic categories, which is personality and attributes. Okay, personality at work. What is personality? Personality is relatively stable set of psychological attributes that distinguish one person from another. Okay, so if you see, first is the big 5 personality traits. Okay, This is okay. This big five personality trait is about is include about agreeableness, concessiousness, emotionality, extroversions, and openness. Okay. Okay. So we start with the agreeableness. Okay. Agreeableness is about cooperative, is about trustworthy, good nature. Okay. If it is a low score, okay, low score, agreeable, so if the low score, it become the person is practical, conventional, prefer routines. Okay. If the sorry, this is what agreeable, sorry, agreeables, they become the people who are low score in agreeableness is critical, is the person who uncooperative, suspicious. Okay. Those who are high score in agreeableness, they are helpful, they are trusting and empathetic. Okay. However, next is conscientiousness is about competency, about the self-disciplines, thoughtfulness, goal-driven. Okay. If a low score, people are with the low score of consciousness is as impulsive, careless, disorganized. Okay. With the high score of consciousness is normally people who are hardworking, dependable, and also organized. Okay. Next is negative emotionality. Negative emotionality is tendency towards the unstable emotions. Okay. If it is a low score, people with the low score of what do you call negative emotionality, they are calm, even temper and secure. Though with the high score, high score or high negative emotionality is more towards anxious, they are unhappy, prone to negative emotions. Okay. Next is extroversion. Extroversion is sociability, assertiveness, or call it emotional expressions. Okay. If it is less of the like more, sorry, less score of extroversion is person who quiet, reserved, withdrawn. Okay. With the high score as extroversions, what do you call it, is more apa orang kata, outgoing, warm, and also seek for adventure. Okay. And then next is last, which is uh, openness is imaginations, feelings, actions, or we call ideas. Okay. If you are low in or less on openness, is you are person of the normally employees less of openness, they are practical, conventional, and prefer routines. Okay. And if they are high score or they are more in openness, they are more towards careers, wide range of the interests, and also a person who are independent. Okay. So this is a big five personality traits. Okay. Okay, here also they explained, which is agreeableness, a person's ability to get along with the others. Concessiousness is a reflections of the number of things a person tries to accomplish. Okay. Emotionality, the degree of which people tend to be positive or negative in their outlook or behavior towards others. Extroversion, a person comfort level with the relationship, and openness reflect how open or rigid the person in terms of his or her belief. Okay, this one all stated in your textbook. Okay, you can refer your textbook also. Okay, next slide and is about emotional intelligence. Okay, emotional intelligence is the extent is refer to the extent to which people are self-aware, can manage their emotions, can motivate themselves, express empathy for others, and possess social skills. Okay, this is called emotional intelligence. Basically, emotional intelligence is those who are able to control their emotions. Okay, they know how to manage their emotion, control their emotion. That's called emotional intelligence. Okay, so emotional intelligence is self-awareness, managing emotions, motivating oneself, empathy, and also social skills. Okay, this is part which is included in emotional intelligence. Okay, next is about attitude at work. Attitude at work is in page 279. Attitude at work. Okay, attitude reflect okay, attitudes a person believe and feeling about the specific ideas, situations, or people. Okay, so actually attitude is reflect our belief and feelings about specific ideas, okay, situations, or other people. So important attitudes are job satisfaction, which is it reflects the extent to which people have positive attitudes toward their job. However, organizational commitment is reflect an individual identification with the organization and its missions. Okay, that is which is means attitude at work. Okay, if you see in your page 279, for example, okay, attitudes are formed by a variety of forces, okay, including our personal values, our experience, and our personalities. For example, if we value honesty and integrity, we may form especially favorable attitudes towards a manager whom we believe to be honest and moral. Okay, it shows that if we person who are apa orang kata honest, okay, kita ni orang yang honest, yang ada integrity, so we also we prefer our manager are also the same like us, like they also honest and also integrity, they have integrity. Okay, that's called how attitudes are formed. Okay, it's from you. Okay, so job satisfaction and organization commitment. Okay, next is about psychological contract. Okay, this is about the matching people and jobs. Okay, manager like to have a good match between people and the job they are performing. Okay, so first here is a psychological contract. Okay, psychological contract is if it's stated in your slide, it said that set of expectation held by an employee concerning what he or she will contribute to an organization, which is referred as contribution, and what the organization will in return provide the employee, which is referred as inducement. Okay, which means that psychology contract are the set of promise. Okay, it's a promises or expectations that are exchanged between parties in the employment relationship. Okay, these parties include employers, managers, individual employees, and their work colleagues. Okay, and also known as psychology contract, also understood as a deal between employer and employee, which is concerning the perception of two parties, employer and employees, of what their mutual obligation are towards each other. Okay, which is mean that the employees they are concerning about their contributions to organization. However, at the same time, their expectations is to return the, which is refer to the inducement, which mean that in return they receive a inducement. Okay, I hope you are clear about the psychological contract. Okay, here also say they have example which is in the figure 8.2, illustrate the essential nature of psychological contract. Okay, contribution from the individual which is employees, okay, which is effort, ability, loyalty, skills, time, and also competencies. So what they get from the organizations, okay, if they contribute this, and what they get from the organization is pay, benefits, job security, status, promotion opportunities, or career opportunity, or we call it as a career development. Okay, this is the psychological contract in between the employees, the employer and the employees. Okay, so what they expect, if this contribution given by the employees, this is the organization expect from the employees is effort, ability, and loyalty, then they will contribute the inducement to the employees. Okay, next is the person job fit. The person job fit is um, refer to the extent to which a person contributions and the organization inducements match one another. Okay, this one is defined as actually person job fit is a compatibility between individuals and the job or task that they perform at work. Okay, these include compatibility based on employee needs and job supplies available to meet those needs, as well as job demand and employee ability to meet those demand. Okay, which is good person job fit in turn can result a higher performance and more positive attitudes. Okay, they call the person job fit. Okay, and then I would like to recall again, psychological contract, okay, is the employee expectation about the contribution that mana tadi is that they will make to the organizations and the inducements that organization will provide in return. Okay, however, the good person job fit is one in which the employee contributes match the inducement that organization offers. Okay, next we go to the next part, which is basic motivation concept and theories. Okay, motivations. What is motivation? Motivation is a set of forces, what do you call it, a set of forces that cause people to behave in certain ways. Okay, there are numbers of major studies and theories that employ motivation, which is a classical theory, early behavioral theory, and contemporary motivations theory. Okay, first we go for classical theory. In your slide say that classical theory is holding that workers are motivated solely by money. Okay, which means that according to the classical theory ni, employees are motivated solely by money, which is Frederick Taylor said, the father of scientific management, proposed that paying worker more money will prompt them to produce more, which is mean that if you want your worker motivated and work good performance, you have to pay them. Okay, when you pay them, you motivate them to become become more, they will work better. Okay, that is classical theory. However, motivation just now is as I recall again about motivations, motivation is a set of forces cause people behave in certain ways. Okay, The process. Okay, motivation is the process that account individual intensity, direction, and persistence of effort towards achieving the goal. Okay, you must understand about the motivation in organization. Okay, towards achieving a goal must be intensity, direction, and persistence. Okay, then classical theory, which is you if you want your worker be motivated and also perform better, perform well, you have to pay them. Okay, next is early behavioral theory. Early behavioral theory, the Horta effect is the tendency for productivity to increase when workers believe that they are receiving special attention from management. Okay, which means that in your slide say that um, okay, I will explain to you one by one about this theory. Okay, following the Horton studies, the major motivation theories are human resource model, which is theory X and Y. Okay, in theory X and Y, this according to the scientist Douglas McGregor proposed two distinct views of human being, which is theory X and theory Y. Basically, theory X is labeled as a negative, and the other basically positive labeled as a theory Y. So what is theory X do? Okay, the theory X assumption that employee is dislike work, are lazy, dislike responsibility, and they are not able to perform. Okay, which is lower order needs dominate. Okay, however, theory Y is employee is like work, they like work, they are creative, seek responsibility, and can exercise self-direction, which is higher order needs dominates. Okay, so McGregor say that believe that theory Y assumption were more valid than theory X, and propose such as ideas as participative decision making, responsible and challenging job, and good group relation as approach that will maximize the employee motivation, which is theory Y. Okay, because it's positive. Okay, so if you see here in your slides is table 8.1. In the textbook is page it is page 283. Okay, theory X, as mentioned just now, people are lazy, people lack ambitions and dislike responsibility, people are self-centered, people resist change, and people are gullible and also not very bright. Okay, maknanya they are refuse nak jadi pandai pun. Okay, so theory Y is a people is energetic, people are ambitious, selfless, and then people want to contribute to business growth and change, and also people are intelligent. Okay, so next theory is Maslow hierarchy of need model. Okay, this model, this theory, Maslow proposed that workers each have a set of needs that they seek to fulfill their job. Okay, these needs are arranged in hierarchy of importance. Okay, these needs are psychological, safety, social. Okay, is in here. Okay, psychological needs, security needs, social needs, esteem needs, and also self-actualization needs. Okay, so this Maslow further proposed that lower level needs must be met before higher level need, and once one set of needs is met, so it is of motivate behavior. Okay, so here say that the psychology Abraham Maslow said that the hierarchy of human needs model proposed people have several different needs, okay, that they attempt to satisfy in their work. So Maslow classified this need into 5 basic types, okay, as I mentioned just now, psychological, security, and so on. So it is being arranged in hierarchy of importance, okay. You have to fulfill the first level needs, then you can move to the other needs, I mean the second needs, okay. So the first need is psychological need. Psychological need is for example, like air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and what do you call it? Reproductions, okay. Security needs, or we call safety needs, okay, is about you need personal security, you need employment, you need resources, you need health and property. The third is social needs. Social need is like you need love, you need belonging, okay, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connections, okay. Self-esteem, esteem need is like you need respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and also freedom. And then the highest one is self-actualization needs, is about you need a desire to become the most that one can be, example like that, okay. So lower end needs are the priority needs, okay, which must be satisfied before higher order needs are activated, okay. Needs are satisfied in sequence, okay. When a needs is satisfied, it declines in importance, and the next need become a dominant, okay. When you fulfill the psychological needs, then you think this is the importance to be declined, then you move to the other need, because you dah fulfill, you dah cukup, you have water, you have food, you have shelter, you have sleep, and you dah cukup semua. Now you look for the other needs, which is safety needs, okay. And then to motivate an individual, one must know where the person is in the hierarchy and focus on satisfying at the above that level, okay, at or above the level, okay. I hope you are clear about the Maslow hierarchy. Next theory is about two factors theory. Two factors theory propose that job satisfaction depend on motivating factors and hygiene factors, okay. These motivating factors such as recognition in the workplace, as well as the presence of the hygiene factors, okay. Hygiene factors such as work condition, okay. You must understand, motivating factors is the recognitions of the workplace. Hygiene factors is about the work conditions, okay. Here I shows about, here is, okay. Motivations factors and hygiene factors. Motivation factors is like achievement, recognition, the work itself, the responsibility, the advancements, and growth. The hygiene factors is the condition of the workplace, which is supervisors, working conditions, the interpersonal relations, pay and security, company policy, and administrations, okay. So hygiene factors involve the presence and absence of the job dissatisfier. When the hygiene factor are present, the individual is not dissatisfied. However, when they are absent, the individual is dissatisfied. In any case, hygiene factors do not motivate, okay. Motivator as a factor that influence satisfaction and consequently motivate the person from within he or she achieve the higher level of needs of achievement, recognition, or personal growth, okay. So for example, in your textbook, mana dia, okay, in your textbook say, okay, in page 284, okay, for example, worker will be dissatisfied if they believe that they have a poor working condition. If working conditions are improved, however, they will not necessarily become satisfied. They will simply not be dissatisfied. Okay, for example, like the poor working condition, of course as they will what you call they will become okay. If the working condition in okay, they say again, if the dissatisfied, if the working condition poor working condition, they become dissatisfied. But when the working condition improve, they are not satisfied, they are not become satisfied, but they become not be dissatisfied. Okay, you must understand about the hygiene factors. Okay, however, if worker receive no recognition for successful work, they may be neither dissatisfied or nor satisfied. If recognition is provided, they will be likely become more satisfied. This is about motivation factors pula. Okay, next is contemporary motivation theory. Okay, recently more complex model of employee behavior and motivation has been developed. Okay, so they have two most interesting and useful ones which is expectancy theory and also equity theory. Okay, expectancy theory, in your slide say that this theory suggests that employees are especially motivated to work towards reward when they have a greater probability of achieving them. So this theory explains why people may not work as hard when their salaries are based solely on seniority. Okay, for example, like macam ni, expectancy theory ni is about the mental process regarding choice or choosing. Okay, it explain the process that individual undergoes to make choice. Okay, for example, like you putting effort on the job, so the employee believe that effort will result in acceptable performance. Okay, then when they perform, so they believe that acceptable performance will produce a desire of rewards. So when they receive a reward, the employee will values the reward. Okay, which means that when they put effort, when they perform well, they will receive a reward. This is what this means expectancy theory. Okay. Okay, if you see in figure 8.52 expectancy theory model, they say individual effort, individual perform, and organization rewards, and personal goals. That's a personal goals for them. Okay, so next is equity theory. This theory is focused on employee perceptions and of fairness and the unfairness in the workplace. Okay, many people evaluate their treatment by the organization relative to the treatment of others. Okay, if you see here, equity theory. Okay, when employee compare their own ratios with those of their employees, they will ask whether their ratio are equal to or greater than or less than those of the people who they comparing themselves. Okay, so depending on their assessment, they experience feeling of equity or inequity. Okay, so if you see the figure 8.6 illustrate the three possible results of such an assessment. Okay, for example, new college graduates and also newcomer. So if you see equal to, result 1, it shows that equal to, which is input and also output are equal in between them. If you see result 2, the new college graduate is greater than the newcomer. It shows that their input and output is better than the newcomer. Okay, if you see result 3, the newcomer is better than the new college graduates. Okay, this is the called is equity theory. Okay, next is, okay, again I say about the equity theory. Equity theory again, I would like to recall again. Okay, equity theory is individual compare their job input and outcomes with of others then those of others and then respond so that as eliminate an inequities. Okay, so equity theory recognize the individuals are concerned not only with the absolute amount of rewards of their effort, but also with the relationship of the amount of what other receive. Okay, which is here competing. Okay, next is reinforcement or behavior modification, which is last part if I'm not mistaken. Okay, before that I would like to recall again about the previous part. Okay, classical theory motivations, worker are motivated by money. Paying them more money should prompt them to produce more goods. Okay, and then make sure you understand the between theory X. Theory X is worker are lazy, and theory Y, worker want to do a good job. Okay, and then make sure you are clear about the hygiene factors affect motivation and satisfaction only if they are absent or fail to meet the expectations. Okay, and then equity theory is focused on social comparisons. Okay, people evaluating their treatment by the organization relative to the treatment of others. Okay, so next is about last part is about reinforcements and behavior modifications. Okay, strategy and technique of enhancing motivations. Okay, understanding what motivate workers in only one part of the manager job, so the other part is applying knowledge. Okay, so okay, positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is reward that follow desired behavior, which is used when a company or manager provide a reward when employee has a big desired behavior. Okay, that's called positive reinforcement, where for example like they are paying bonus those who are perform, and at the same time is motivate the those who are perform, which is the employees, to achieve more better in the future. Okay, however punishment is unpleasant consequences of an undesirable behavior. Okay, which means that is used to change behavior by presenting people with the unpleasant consequences. For example, like always those who always came late to the office, they will punish them by reduce their salaries, for example. Okay, next is using goals to motivate behavior, which is management by objective, MBO. Okay, this MBO is a system of collaborative goal setting. Okay, is extending through all level of organizations. Okay, is concerned with the implementation of plan or in the organizations. Okay, this is MBO. MBO is a strategy approach to enhance the performance of our organizations. Okay, it's a process where the goals of the organizations are defined and conveyed by the management to the members of the organization with the intention to achieve each of objective. Okay, management by objective means that you are doing work management but with the objective, with the align with the objective. Okay, next is participative management and empowerment. In participative management empowerment, employee suggestions and opinion are welcome. Okay, employees may feel more committed to the firm goals if they have helped to shape them. Okay, which means that you giving opportunity to your employees to make decision, to give an ideas, to voice up. Okay, so they will feel they are part of the organization too. Okay, that's called participative management and empowerment. Next is job enrichments and job redesign. Both these programs typically increase worker satisfaction in job that lack motivating factors. Okay, so what is job enrichment? Job enrichment is a program that attempt to add motivating factors to job activities. Okay, for example, like job rotations. Okay, increasing the job satisfactions by adding one or more motivating factors to job activities. For example, job rotations. Okay, job redesign program. This program attempt to create a better fit between employee and their job by restructuring work. Okay, so job redesign can usually be carried out through combining tasks, okay, forming natural work groups, and establish client relationship. Okay, combining tasks which is involve um, enlarging job, okay, enlarging the jobs and the increasing their varieties can make employees feel that their work is more meaningful. Okay, that's called combining tasks, which is combine the tasks. Okay, forming natural work group is people who perform different jobs at the same project. Okay, which is candidate for natural work groups that help employees see the place and the importance of their job in the total structure of the firm. Okay, that's called forming natural work groups. Okay, however, the establishing client relationship, which is allowing employees to interact with customers, which can increase the job variety. Okay. Next is modify work schedules. Okay, this modify work schedule is a program like work share program, flex time program, telecommunicating program. Okay, work share program is this program allow employee to share a single full-time job. Employee appreciate the schedule's flexibility to accommodate their personal needs, and firm can reduce the turnover, and at the same time you can save the cost of the benefit. Okay, for example, like work sharing ni program where you are flexible, your schedule is flexible, which is at one time like whole day you are working shift ke, okay, you schedule flexibility because so you have your own time for your personal needs. Okay, and also it can reduce the turnover, it can reduce people who will leave the company. Okay, and then flex time program is allow worker to choose their working hours by adjusting a standard work schedules. Okay, flex time program. And last, which is telecommunicating, allow employees to perform some or all of their job away from the standard office setting. Okay, which is you work away from your office settings. Okay, away from your office. So they have advantages, and the advantages of modified schedules alternative workplace, which is advantages is more satisfied, committed employees, reduce stress, improve productivity, and less congestions. Okay, however, the disadvantages is challenging to coordinate and manage. Okay, because you are working away from your office, you work with the flexible time. Okay, sometimes during your work time other people are not working during your working time. Okay, so poor fit for some workers, lack of network and co-worker contact, and lack of management belief. Okay, that's all for chapter 6. I hope you are clear about this chapter. If you are not clear or you have any questions regarding the chapter, you may ask me. Okay? Thank you very much.